Hey, welcome back. I'm Joe Barlow, and I'm sitting here with my daughter Sarah, and this week we are talking about finding your life purpose. So, Sarah, do you know what your life purpose is? And if so, how did you find out?
Yeah, I really do feel like I found out like what my life purpose was even pretty early on, and I think it's something that it's more of a foundational thing that I really had to find, and realizing that it was something that it had a theme throughout everything that I was younger and earlier on wanting to do different things. It always had a theme throughout. But I realized in like reading early on, I read that Principles and Power of Vision by Miles Monroe. I think that's who it was.
I remember when we introduced that book to you.
Yeah.
We were in Utah.
Yeah, it
on
was
vacation in Utah.
so good, and it was definitely like one of the most like impacting books for me, and but really finding out what that purpose is, because like knowing the difference between the purpose and the vision is the purpose is why you're doing things, and then the vision is basically how you're going to accomplish that. And so for me it was like the purpose was really for me boiled down to what every morning when I would wake up in the morning realizing that like I just had such a my heart would break all the time, and it would wake me up sometimes, as far as like realizing that there was people out there that didn't really know who they really were. And so realizing how much was implanted in me as far as all of that goes, and realizing and seeing it in the world that so many people don't know this, and they're hurting and they're causing hurt to other people, and they're so directionless and all of this, and that the world is literally just like basically dying because those people aren't in their full purpose and
Right.
full vision and all that different stuff. And so when I started seeing that, it would wake me up every morning realizing there's people, so many people out there that literally just don't have their identity in place.
Wow.
And so I felt like really my purpose here on this earth is to help people see who they really are. And so for me then, even then when I eventually got into photography or whatever, I realized I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally showing these people who they are and how I see them, and I can even like
Wow.
see them a certain way and see them a different way and show them that.
Do you remember that thing I shared with you when you were little? That you can only see a person's spirit for a
Yeah.
split second?
Yeah.
And the key is, as a photographer, the key is to have the shutter
Feeling it.
open
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Have-
Exactly.
that can't really be taught, but you got it.
Yeah.
You caught it.
Yep, for sure. But basically, so all of this happened, and just spending a lot of time reading and just knowing, I from when I was very young, I had so many different things that I was wanting to do, and it was always creative. It was always like very, whether it was interior design, graphic design, and architecture, photography. I had my whole empire structured out, from like it was going to be called like Canaan design or something like that, and have like all of these different like levels of things, and I was going to own like businesses all over the place. And I still like I go back to that, and it's still a lot of things that I still want to do and all of that, which is cool. But at the same time, I think it really took you seeing in me like these different areas that I really thrived in. And you bought me my first camera when I was 14, and because that was what I wanted for my graduation, was just like being able to zoom in and focus on something. And I didn't know anything past that, except I thought that was so cool. And me and Natalie would do model shoots growing up and stuff like that with Mom's point and shoot camera. And
I had you do a study of the backyard.
Yeah.
Yep. Just a picture of a rope and all these.
Exactly.
But the lighting and the way you captured it was like, man, there's a gift here.
Yeah. And so I think it is a key, whether it's, a person's parents or the people around, like even seeking that out, like what, you could have all these different areas that you want to go, but like what is it that people that are around you, they know you the best, and they know even your level of giftings and all that different stuff. And so for you to then, like when I was around, I think 16 or 17, and really feeling like I was fully heading towards architecture. I was drawing all the time. I was designing houses. I was going and, you know, taking pictures of houses outside and all this different stuff. And, you know, fully planning on, you know, leaving home and going to architecture school at, you know, 18 or whatever. And, you know, you presenting it to me and being like, okay, what is it that you really want? And you got down to the bottom of that first. And then from that, me seeing that, like, even in that type of lifestyle or whatever, wasn't actually what I was really, really wanting. And
well, on the inside of me, when you said you wanted to go into architecture, it was like,
yeah,
it's like, oh, this feels terrible.
yeah,
And it really, but for a full year, the Lord would not let me say anything to you about that, anything negative, because if I had, then it would have squashed God's work in you.
Yeah.
So I had to be absolutely quiet until one day, we were living in Elmhurst at the time, sitting in the living room, and I'm like, okay, I just felt a release to start talking to you. And I said, Sarah, what do you really want to do? And you said, well, I really want to be a wife and a mother. I said, hey, I'm all good with that.
Yeah.
And then I said, what about a career? What would you have to do to become an architect? And you started naming it off. And as soon as you named it all off, all that you would have to go through.
Yeah.
And I said, do you really want to do that?
Yeah.
And you were like, all of a sudden it dawned on you, no, I really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I said, well, then what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And you blurted right out, well, I think I'd really like to get going on my photography.
Yeah.
I said, that would be great.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, but it came out of you, and I had to wait
Yeah.
until the purpose or whatever God was trying to bring out came out of you.
Mm-hmm.
And once that came out, it was like, this is awesome. Then, after that point, we started seeing miraculous things happening.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, we need to get into that tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's really good. Listen, come back tomorrow. Check this out. We're talking to Sarah Barlow about how to find your life purpose. And out of all the people I know, she probably knows what hers is. And she's walking in it. So come on back and join us. God bless you.